Hi, good afternoon. Coming from sunny Singapore, we're very proud and privileged to offer IWSCI panel discussion based on their BRIM series, and a little introduction on IWSCI stands for International Women Federation of Commerce and Industry. And with us, we have a very dynamo of ladies, dynamic speakers who are very, very amazing in what they do, and we're very proud to showcase what they do today under the BRIM series. Now, a little bit about IWFCI. They are established in I think quite a while back in 1992 by Diana Abruzzi, and she's here with us today. And basically what we want to do for IWSCI Women is that we concentrate on the BRIM series, which is business, relationship, identity, and mentality. And to have more insight into what IWFCI do, is my honor and privilege to introduce Annie Chan, President of IWFCI Singapore Chapter. Over to you, Annie.
All right, thank you very much, Marie, and thank you to all the ladies that you're seeing on screen right now for taking your time out of this Wednesday afternoon to be here with all of us. I mean, all the lovely ladies who are helming or used to helm IWFCI at the various chapter. All right, my name is Annie, and to all the audience that's watching in right now, I know some of you may be the same time as us. Some could be a little bit later, like especially when you're watching from Australia, and perhaps some of you are a little bit earlier at like lunchtime. So thank you for taking time off your lunch to join us, or maybe breakfast, or even maybe dinner time. All right, so we'll make sure that we try to do this as interesting as we possibly can for all of you watching in. All right, so like what Marie said, my name is Annie. I'm president for IWSCI Singapore. And just a little bit more about myself, right, before I go into what IWFCI is all about. My journey, I would say, is rather simple, rather basic as a Singaporean, right? So after I graduated from school, I started my work, and I think it as this is going to be my life until I had a chance to start my own events business in 2003, and I guess that's what they say, the rest is history. And the next challenge I got was in 2018, when the founder of IWFCI Singapore decided to hand over the helm of presidency to me. To be very honest, I'm not afraid to say that I have my self-doubts, I have my fear, because it's a big pair of shoes I've got to fit in, right? But I decided to rise up to the challenge and still take on this particular challenge to lead IWFCI. So for the last 3 years, okay, what has been happening is I'm very thankful to my EXCO who had came together with me to create initiative, create program for our members and generally for the women out there. So one of the biggest campaign or I'll say program that we created is known as BRIM. So BRIM refers to business, relationship, image, and mental attitude. And why do we say that? We say that is because as we build our business or as we build our career, we still need to be mindful of the relationship that we built. We need to watch our image. All right, and of course, the important things, we need to make sure that we have the right mental attitude to sustain us. And in order for us to build relationship, which I think is very important for business, especially when COVID hit, we are now looking into ways to sustain our business. And having said that, IWFCI will be going out to forge strategic partnership with organizations, with different corporates, so that we can bring more value to our members. And just very briefly, two of our current strategic partner, one of them is actually Cassia Business Chamber, and the other one is SG Mistress Class. And what do these two do? For Cassia Business Chamber, if you are a member, this is where they give us the platform and the opportunity to scale our business to 16 other countries in Central Asia and Southeast Asia. And as for SG Mistress Class, this is another safe platform whereby ladies can come together and connect and help each other out on a more personal level. So the strategic alliance we do is both personal and professional. All right. So with all this in place, IWSCI is set to reach out to our members and our women folk out there to empower you in BRIM. And also let's create a more sustainable tomorrow for our business, for ourselves, and of course for our loved ones. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annie. That was an amazing introduction. And obviously, as you can see, that Annie is just the woman to helm the IWFCI Singapore chapter, and she has loads of experiences. Kicking off on our first virtual roundtable, obviously, it is Annie Chan, President of IWFCI, again, touching on relationship. Annie, over to you again.
All right, so thank you, Marie, for introducing me once again. But you know what? We have so many powerhouse lady in the house right now. And I think very, very rightfully, I would like to pass this opportunity to Ms. Diana Abruzzi, our founder for IWSCI, to share a little bit more about herself. I mean, how did she start this association, since 1992, if I'm not wrong? All right, so I think I would like to give this little limelight to Diana, and I would like our audience to hear from her first, and then I'll come on a little later. So Diana, it's to you. Maybe Marie, you'd like to just give a quick intro about Diana.
Thank you, Annie. You're very, very kind. Hello and good afternoon, everybody, because it is afternoon here, or nearly evening. Today, I've been asked to speak to you on how to build the right mental attitude to strive in your business. And as I reflected over the years as the founder and international chair of IWFCI, I did realize I have had the privilege and opportunity of talking with so many women on similar matters, from the very poor to the very wealthy, from many, many different nations. In this time, it has never ceased to amaze me at the growing number of women-owned, operated SME entrepreneurs. With their ability at finding niche markets, with their creativeness, passion and drive, as I have seen just recently in the IWFCI e-trade show. At the mental attitude of an entrepreneur and how they overcome obstacles and keep going. Because this is the key to your mental attitude in running a successful business. Entrepreneurs are most likely to be driven to something like passion, to create something new. And these women share the same characteristics, the same spirit of enterprise, and have the potential and power to transform their communities. And that is what our nations need. Women with vision and go. Entrepreneurs have an instinct or a gut feeling as to whether an idea has a commercial viability. And no textbook can verify that women have that inbuilt instinct and quality far stronger. I don't claim entrepreneurs are heroes, angels, or saints, but I do believe they are the indispensable agent of change and growth and improvement in a free society. They are unconventional, they're unreasonable, and they are almost individuals who drive and inspire others. Now, they are driven by many things. A willingness to take risk, a restless problem solver energy, an ability to live with uncertainty, a determination to prove things wrong, and a relentless persistence in the face of seeming failure. But let's not forget, when pursuing a personal goal, it is inevitable. At some point, you will think one or more of the following. This is harder than what I thought it would be. Why is this taking so long? I'm getting nowhere with this. I keep failing at this goal. I can't do this. What was I thinking? If I knew it was going to be this hard, I would not have started. And when you do have one or more of these thoughts, it is very likely that you will want to give up, but do not. There were times in the early years of IWFCI that I experienced doubt in what I was doing. But I was compelled by my pain for women struggling and my firm conviction and vision that women could trade the globe and help each other. Had I given up, we would not be here today, or have seen the global expansion of IWFCI branches around the world, where our members are currently now trading with each other. But it took passion, persistence, doggedness to achieve our goals and never giving up. The question is, what are you going to do to build the right mental attitude to strive in your business? Well, I say to you, firstly, never give up and adopt I won't quit mindset. Now, not giving up is a mindset, and it is a mindset that you can adopt. What you do need is to constantly tell yourself the following: I will persist when things get tough. I will either find a way, I'll make a way. Every problem has a solution, and I have the perfect ability to find it. Every day I gain more knowledge and insight about what works and what doesn't, which means I'm getting stronger and wiser. Setbacks are temporary. I will find a way through this. And finally, think. What is the best thing to do now? Having an won't quit mindset will make it much easier for you to persist and refuse to give up until you achieve your goals. And even if you haven't seen results just yet, you never know what might be happening underneath the surface or what is coming around the corner. Mahatma Gandhi said, happiness is when what you think and what you say and what you do are in harmony. So thinking on that, so let's look at the other very important equation for the right mental attitude, and that is your emotional intelligence. With the improvement of your emotional intelligence, EQ, which is your ability to sense and empathize when it comes to happiness and success, you will find EQ does matter just as much as your IQ. So what is emotional intelligence, and why is it so important? Because it is not the smartest people who are the most successful or the most fulfilled in life. You probably know people who are academically brilliant and yet are socially inept and unsuccessful at work or in their personal relationships. Intellectual ability, or your intelligence quotient, IQ, is not enough on its own to achieve success in life. Yes, your IQ can help you get into college, but it is your EQ that will help you manage the stress and emotions when facing your final exams. IQ and EQ exist in tandem and are most effective when built off and complement one another. The skills that make up emotional intelligence can be learnt at any time. However, it's important to remember that there is a difference between simply learning about EQ and applying that knowledge to your life. Just because you know you should do something doesn't, especially when you become overwhelmed by stress, which can override your best intentions. In order to permanently change behavior in ways that stand up under pressure, need to learn how to overcome stress in the moment and in your relationships in order to remain emotionally aware. The 4 key skills for building your EQ and improving your ability to manage emotions and connect with others are self-management, self-awareness, social awareness, and relationship management. If you can master these qualities, you can master the universe. So finally, in closing, let me finish by saying this. To build the right mental attitude to strive in your business, you must conquer your fears every day until you forget what they were. And no matter what is happening around you, because we are all living in times outside most of our control, have peace, live by faith, trust in God, and stick close together in the future for IWFCI. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diana. As you can tell, she is the founder of IWFCI and she's based in Brisbane. Currently, I think they're going through autumn. Yeah, Gold Coast or Brisbane, I think. But yeah, going through autumn right now. And I didn't have a chance to introduce Diana earlier on because she's so excited to share her message of hope, resilience, persistence with all the ladies out there. And so this is a question that one of the participants wanted to pose to you, Diana. And the question is this: how can we as women help to empower, inspire, and help to build up our fellow womenpreneurs to step forward into the limelight, take their place, and not have the imposter syndrome of not being good enough?
Well, I can all say that we all start feeling not good enough. We all feel that we can't do it. And the people, other people are much, much better at it. But what I say to you is you've got to move out of your comfort zone. And that was probably be the most difficult part of what you're going to do in life, is stepping out of that comfort zone. And unless you do, you will never grow. You will never recognize your full potential, because you have to be prepared to walk into the unknown. But it's in the unknown that you grow and you learn by your mistakes. Have the courage, do it, walk out and step out of your comfort zone. Yes, you'll make mistakes, but you'll learn from them. Don't try and crucify yourself because you made a mistake. We all make mistakes, but we learn from them. So please be prepared to walk out of that comfort zone. And please remember that you've got a lot of wonderful people in IWFCI who will help you every step of the way. So don't worry.
Well said, Diana. So the IWFCI is here to help women entrepreneurs, going through the journey, in a sense that if you are there and you wanted to do something, we have a whole cohort of expertise that can help you to establish a business. So Diana's message today is very powerful, because without resilience, some of the things could be given up very easily, as well as the persistence to keep going, because you never know at the end of the journey there is something there, or at the end of something, or just behind the corner, success is just waiting for you. And so Diana, in closing, may I just ask you if there's just one thing that the people who are watching this today can take away to apply, what would that one thing be?
Believe in yourself. Do not allow anyone else deter you from what you feel is something that you're passionate about doing. Do not allow people to criticize or complain or anything, because usually the people who do the most damage to anyone who wants to step out is because they're usually not doing anything themselves. But just take care and believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, because you have so much to give and to explore. So do not give up. It's you know, as you walk through life, you have so much talent that you have to bring it out. And it will come when you want to start a business and the passion that you have behind what you want to start. And that's when you'll get the most criticism from people. But don't listen. You keep going and you believe in yourself. And I really mean that. Believe in yourself.
Thank you, Diana. Once again, thank you so much for honoring us with your time, knowing how tight your schedules are and your busy schedules and everything. So thank you again, Diana. And wow, I hope you take away some of the learnings from what Diana has shared. And the next powerhouse, one of my favorite from sunny Singapore, where the three weathers are rain, rainier, rainiest. And it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you Anne Phua, who is going to talk about business sustainability. Anne is an amazing lady in that she is a humanitarian, social entrepreneur, and an author. She is a president and founder of Hemisphere Foundation and a past chairman and founder of our IWFCI. And she is very instrumental in steering us in how to build business sustainability. Without delay and further ado, and I'm just excited to hear what she's got to share about business sustainability, I would now like to introduce Anne Phua. Anne, over to you.
I don't know what to say other than the fact that what Diana has said has actually described me. Like she says, the visions and the goals, and that is what all this is all about. But coming back to what business schools, the old business schools has taught us, is that business is about sustainability, where we make profit. We learn about good leadership, strategies, and marketing and branding and all that involves. But as far as I'm concerned, sustainability involves a lot more into it. It's more of a holistic approach if you want your business to grow even longer. I'm going to share with you the long journey on business that I have. 45 years in the business. Where is the share now? Share screen. Right. Slides. All right. Does it work? Okay. So this is my first journey in the business 43 years ago. So in the late 70s, when I went into this highly sophisticated fashion industries, so exciting, where my clothes are in New York, London, Paris, and even Japan. Where else can you go, And not only that, the fashions are being paraded in the fashion weeks. It's every ladies in the fashions would like to dream that. But that successful fashion business field, I kind of like reflected, why did it feel? Because it was doing so good. I like the fact that what I'm involved is all natural fabrics like cotton, silk, and wool. That's because I believe that what we wear must be breathable and good for our skin and healthy for us as well. But I was not even thinking at that point of time that my business create jobs for people in the cotton fields, in the sheep farming, or even for the matter, ladies in India, in Jaipur, where we got them seated and handcrafted these beautiful fabrics that Chanel has shown on it. Now, in order to have the ladies' peace of mind, I even created childcare for the ladies, because what I wanted for them to do is that if the ladies have a peace of mind, I get better qualities of the produce. But that didn't stop me. But I said, okay, that's good. The only problem is that why did my business fail? I was kind of a bit stubborn. I said that, well, cotton, silk, and wool is good for our skin, and because it allows the skin to breathe. But at that point of time, the synthetic fashion was in. Then I says, no, synthetic is not good for us. It's not healthy for us because our perspirations and all that, it doesn't breathe. So I was kind of a bit stubborn, and I wasn't able to compromise with my feelings, my visions in other way. So because of that, I lost that business because I lost my clients and the business failed. Then I went on to the print media. It was also a very good journey. I had a couple of publications, Travel Marts, we get over, and it's a big powerhouse of publications media. It was distributed globally in India, Hong Kong, London, and all that was grown. And I got to know a lot of many successful people as well. And there again, why did it fail? That's because of the technology that came into the digital world. I says, no, people need to read. So again, it's the visions that you have, it's the belief that you need to have a book in your hand, you need to do this search. But I was determined to say, okay, either you believe in what you have or not. So unfortunately, that business again failed. So reflecting on all that, this is what is happening in these current situations now. Looking at the fashion industries in Singapore or all over the places, the pandemic has caused us a lot of problems in these fashion lines, in this consumer. These are all consumer trade. Now, then can I say, yeah, this is what drives me. Because moving around, I see all these pollutions, suffering. And I feel that we must do something about that. So 24 years down the road, this is what I've created. 24 years. So I'm still going strong. And not only are we able to move into the trend of providing an environmental education, but having it globally. So again, we say that, how did I manage to survive that long? Well, again, like what Diana says, is the visions and the passions that you drive it. So now we are over not just 140 cities, and we are into 115 countries, and more people wants to come on board with us again. This is the latest that we have got involved as well. This is about grooming leaders, because everyone wants to have a platform. So how do we create this platform for us? And that is what we have created. So what I want to share with you about sustainability is the whole thing about having to have the environment and the social impact of it and the economy, because without these three sectors, you cannot sustain. Yeah, you can create a business, but how long can it last? If I can, with this Environment Hemispheres Foundation, lasted me for about 25 years now, I think I should give myself a pat on the shoulder. But not everybody has got these potentials of doing the social development side of it. Economy is good, environment, whatever they are creating is good, but the social development is not easy for people to want to get involved in it, because you need to have the understanding of it together. Now, riding on, this is another pet project which I have just got embarked. 2012, how many years is that? 13 years? 8 years. But how it evolved is that I feel that there's a lot of poor people around, so we brought in this homeless people and got the government and lobbied for the government to give them this land space. Of course, farming is easier for them, but they're not farmers, so we brought in some farming technical people to come and teach them how to do it. Now, riding on that, how do you sustain a project? Yes, they can farm, but how do you grow onto them? So this is what I've created again, this package of goods, of fruits that they have grown, and we brought it in, air flown in from Cambodia. how can you envision that you have an overseas organic fruit coming to your home in Singapore in less than 4 days? Everybody is saying, and I think you're crazy to ever want to do that. But we have succeeded. Not only have we succeeded because companies are now realizing that, yeah, Anne has got this corporate social responsibility impacted on us because we have our business, but we don't have this social impact on the business. So I'm very blessed that companies are also riding on to us to put in their components of their CSR. So with that, I'm able to grow, and hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more multiplications of this what we call this concept of having to have fresh, natural farm products into your home. Now, can you imagine that when you have this, supermarkets, well, I hope that they will not come after me because I'm taking a bit of their business. But what I'm trying to solve is having to reduce the holistic food waste so that the stores don't have to have a lot of food being wasted. Now, I'm going to share with you. No, I'm going to do this first. So this is what food waste is all about. Stores are hogging and playing, hoping that because of this pandemic, the price of garlic prices went up. So the storekeepers, the importers, hog on to this garlic, thinking that this garlic price can increase. Unfortunately, like all food, they will grow. Now, once a shoot like this happens, you can't eat them. So what do you do with them? You throw them away? No. What I did was I gave it to the farmers, and now they're growing leeks. So these are something that you have to think about of sustainability. You cannot sustain a business without thinking what are the consequences. Now, I recently got this picture from Annie. She posted this picture of this shop. We won't mention the name. Was distributing plastic gloves whenever you enter their stores. Can you imagine each time when the stores receive about at least 30 shoppers or more a day, and how much plastic is being wasted? And creating a business for them without thinking of the consequences of what is causing this plastic waste around. So what I did was, when I saw this happening, I went to the store and I saw that happening. So I said, no, sorry, I don't believe in it. You can make the profit, but you're making your waste and contaminating the earth. So I approached the manager. I says, can I have a word with you? I says, yeah. I says, what you're doing, I don't think it's good that you're polluting. Can you imagine if somebody is going to share that on the Facebook? And what's going to happen? So I says, may I make a suggestions for you? He says, okay, well, let's see whether or not they're going to carry out these suggestions. I says, why don't you make those white gloves? Have white gloves with your company logo embroidered in there or printed on there, so that when people use your glove, they can see your name, right? And then when they go off, you can also wash it off and reuse again. Isn't that a better solution? Well, that is all I can propose to them. I will have to see whether or not they take it up. But this is what I'm talking about, sustainability. Sustainability has to do with having to grow your business, but without having side problems, causing problems to the environment. Otherwise, you cannot sustain and go on forever. And you've got to create opportunities for young people to come up with solutions that's able to provide for them, creating a platform for them. With that happy note, I would like to thank all of you. Annie, can I unshare this now? How do I do that? Can I unshare this? Can I tick this off? Stop sharing. Okay. How do I get this off? All right. Tick this off. Okay. So on that note, um, as I said, I've been in business for that long period of time. I've seen a lot, some good successes and some not so good. What Diana said is that you got to reflect. What is it that you envision that you want to do, and then you move on with it and get as many ideas from fellows. The young people has a lot of ideas, but you also got to give them the opportunities to make sure that whatever projects that they have is able to move on and be continue with their success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne. That was very inspiring. We would what I took away from your talk are two things. One is never be afraid of failure. It is a journey as well. It is a journey as well as being able to maintain the sustainability of certain things that you go into. In other words, it's got to be related to what you do. So don't deviate from what you're doing to keep the sustainability in that respect. And this is a very, very important message because, when you start to have a passion and then you just forget where you're going after, you have a tendency to just go everywhere, anywhere, and then not focusing on something. So that would be an encouragement. And stay online with us because later on we will have a panel and you can ask all the questions that you have always wanted to know, all your deep, dark secrets that you wanted to know about your speakers. They're all ready to talk to you later. Up next, hailing from India, the land of Bollywood, where we all sing and dance from the hill to the river to the ocean and then back again. It is my honor and privilege to introduce Dr. Daphne Pillai, who is the chairperson and in the management board of Mahatma Education Society and co-founder of the Pillai Group of Institutions. And she runs 48 educational institutions from pre-primary to postgraduate programs in 6 campuses in Mumbai. She's a very busy lady, that one, as you can tell, and she still managed to maintain a very nice looking fish tank behind her. So without further ado, Dr. Daphne Pillai is going to talk about, image stereotype, breaking the image stereotype. Over to you in India, Dr. Daphne.
Good evening to all. I'm here to talk about breaking image stereotypes in business and the way forward. Most of the examples that I will be sharing with you are based on my own experiences along my journey. Of course, there have been Wonder Women in India in tech, finance, entrepreneurship, and in several career paths who have set new trends and have battled through gender stereotypes before success came their way. But they are very much in the minority. Today, my talk is going to be on recognizing these gender stereotypes and how to overcome them. Now, what are these gender stereotypes? They are preconceived images for a male and for a female, which are commonly accepted by society and are prevalent globally, regardless of the country's stage of development. They are roles assigned to men and women, and there are societal obligations to conform to these roles. If you break these norms, you stand out as being a rebel, a non-conformist, of course, a non-conformist in a derogatory way, or you stand out as being abnormal. Most often, these gender preconceptions come along with the culture in which we are brought up in. While men are expected to be bold, aggressive, and strong, women are expected to be nice, to be gentle, to be soft-spoken, to be what is called ladylike. This is what we were taught at convent school where I studied, and which was also reinforced in the home. But having been brought up in these traits does not amount to women being stereotyped as being weak. Women can still be strong even if she has the so-called ladylike qualities. How do these gender stereotype roles influence a professional work culture or an entrepreneurial culture? The biggest stereotype about a woman is that she cannot cope with multiple roles at the same time. For example, she cannot be an expectant mother or a mother, a wife, and at the same time have a career or become an entrepreneur. Why do I know it's a stereotype? I know it's a stereotype because I experienced it. I actually lived it. When I was pregnant with my first child, I was laid off from my job. I was a lecturer in a leading city college. The preconceived notions in those years was that a woman would not be able to do justice to her work if she had a newly born child. But clearly, that was wrong, as after I got fired and soon after my first baby was born, I got a job in another college, proved my worth, became the head of the department, got a PhD degree, became the principal of a college, and was able to co found 48 educational institutions with my husband. And I also founded two NGOs, non government associations, which work towards women's upliftment and women's empowerment. And I was able to achieve all this while raising three children. So I was able to shatter the myth that a career woman or an entrepreneur cannot juggle both work and home jobs and do it efficiently. However, even today, we notice that when women return to work after marriage or having a baby, they are given less responsibility or overlooked for projects and promotions. The same treatment is not experienced by their male colleagues. The second stereotype surrounding women in business is that they cannot be good negotiators. Now, let us touch on the context of negotiating a business deal for your company. In short, it means you are talking and either agreeing, compromising, closing the deal, or walking out of a deal. Most often, it's usually a mutual give and take, which benefits both parties. But why is it felt that women will not be able to handle negotiations with business clients? Why? Because women are expected to be nice, and in negotiation, women will be having to deal with people who are difficult. And difficult people are not nice. Difficult people can be uncompromising and manipulative. On the other hand, women are brought up to be nice, they are taught to be empathetic, to be concerned about others. So, if these are the traits embedded in them, how will they be able to negotiate? For to negotiate, one needs to be aggressive, one needs to put on one's foot down, one needs to discuss and debate. And all these traits do not go hand in hand with what a woman is expected to be. If a woman were to raise her voice, it would be considered offensive, but a loud male voice would be accepted as normal and natural. But don't women deal with all these things which come their way naturally? Definitely, yes. If you're a mother, you are dealing with tantrums all the time and irrational moods of children every day and trying to find solutions for every problem. Women can bargain effectively with vegetable vendors and fruit vendors. I'm talking in the Indian context where bargaining with street vendors in the marketplace is quite common. Isn't bargaining a form of negotiation skill? I'm sure even in developed countries, one can bargain at a flea market or at the farmer's market. As an educator and chairperson of the management board of an education society in India, we have had collaborations with business schools in the USA and in Europe. Every year since 2006, we used to take a group of students for an accelerated management program to a business school in California. There was a woman at the helm of our team using all her negotiation skills effectively to get the best package for our students in terms of tuition fees and other benefits. These collaborations went on for 14 years before the coronavirus struck and education programs went online and travel abroad came to a grinding halt. In the 48 education institutions that we run, we have 50% of women in leadership roles who have been, yes, nice, yet firm in their negotiations with different stakeholders. And as leaders, they have been strict, and at the same time, they have been preserving relationships, managing people, and obtaining positive results. Another misconception about female leadership is that a female leader needs to have male attributes to succeed. If she is successful, or if a business is successful, she is compared to a man. Comparisons like she is aggressive like a man, or she talks like a man, or she exerts like a man are commonly heard about successful women leaders. The stereotype here is that you cannot be gentle and caring and still make hard decisions. The implication is that a woman has to embrace male attributes in order to be successful. In other words, she has to mimic the man. These translate to perceptions about gender which are instilled in children when they are young. While these are stereotypes which are untrue, they lead to lower pay for women and lack of women's representation in leadership. And this is not great for anyone. A McKinsey and Company's Global Institute report found out that narrowing the gender gap could add between 12 and 28 trillion to the global GDP. So how do we retrain ourselves and future generations in combating gender stereotypes? How to make the world and our businesses future ready? It starts from the beginning. It should start when the child is born. I have 3 grandchildren, aged 4 and below. And when I look at the gifts they receive on their birthdays, I realize that this is how stereotypes originate. My 2 grandsons received toy trucks, engines, airplane models, robots, and a host of other tech toys, while my granddaughter is gifted with dolls, soft toys of animals and birds, and musical rattles. The solution to this is to provide your children, whether they are a boy or a girl, with a wide variety of toys and leave the option to them to decide which one they want to play with. And education should be gender neutral. Girls should be encouraged in the STEM subjects of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Girls are dissuaded from taking STEM subjects due to the socio-economic and cultural norms prevailing in society and the stress laid on the pursuing of stereotype careers which are girl-specific or boy-specific. Parents and teachers can play a significant role to dispel these stereotypes in a child's formative years. Again, to give you an example from my story, I encouraged my daughter to go in for the sciences and sent her to America after her 12th standard. She was pretty young, for higher studies. I was described as a bad mother by one of my colleagues. I hail from Goa, which is one of the states in India, and one of my colleagues made a statement in the staff room that Goans make bad mothers. My colleague's idea of bringing up a girl was to teach her to do household chores, to be in the kitchen, and to prepare the tiffin for her brothers before they left for work. That's what my colleague who criticized me encouraged her daughter to do. I'm happy to say that Minerva, my daughter, got her doctorate in mechanical engineering from University of California, Berkeley, and is a co-founder of a very successful startup in California. Women are asked to follow stereotype models, should brush them away with expressions like, "Oh, that's a stereotype, and facts have proven otherwise." "Oh, that's a myth which needs to be busted." Or a reaction to a gender-based bias statement would go a long way towards making people conscious that these stereotypes are outdated and one needs to be updated with the reality of things. Gender neutral policies should be introduced at the workplace. A lot of companies in the USA and Europe are now allowing paternity leave to help reduce the burden on women. These kind of policies help reduce biases and eventually will help reduce the gender wage gap. Breaking stereotypes and reimagining gender roles in your organization is a critical step towards making businesses future ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Daphne. That was very, very, what would you say, eye-opening in some respect in regards to stereotyping women. And you're absolutely right. In some of the MNCs that I work with, right, and they oftentimes say this during board meeting, you don't bring feelings into the meeting. We just have to talk about the tasks and roles and responsibilities. And you're absolutely right. So to recap what you're saying is that, women can juggle more than a few tasks, more than a few roles and responsibilities. And we are also very good negotiators because, if your kid wants a toy and you said no, it means no. It doesn't mean that there's room for any negotiation in some respect. And of course, we don't need to have male attributes. In that sense, we can be aggressive yet gentle. We can be soft yet, at the same time able to fulfill some, in a sense, what needed to be done. So that was excellent. Thank you so much for that. And right, so we will now move on to our last speaker before the panel. And this is Mr. Rudy Fang. Unfortunately, today he has an emergency, so he wasn't able to join us, but he has kindly provided a video link for us. And he will be covering things like building sincere and authentic relationship. Rudy is actually the CEO of our Central Asia and Southeast Asia Business Chamber. And this is a group of companies that run businesses in banking and wealth management, information technology, wholesale and business platform with market focus in Southeast Asia and Central Asia regions. So we will just play the video that Mr. Rudy has kindly prepared for us, and we just get ready. Thank you.
All right, because while I'll get the video ready, we'd just like to express our thanks to Mr. Rudy Fang. He was so looking forward to this sharing because it's the sunshine among the roses. But unfortunately, he is actually in hospital right now for some kidney stone surgery. So he felt very apologetic and he decided that that he has to still share. He promised me, all right, he promised us that he's going to be sharing. So therefore, he has actually recorded a quick sharing on what building relationship is all about. So here we go. So let me add the share the screen for video and let's enjoy the little message that Mr. Rudy Fang has shared for us.
Comments are here too. I'm Rudy Fang from Central Asia and Southeast Asia Business Chamber, or CASIA-BC. CASIA-BC is a strategic partner of IWFCI in Singapore. I'm very happy that Annie invited me to share our experience with all of you today. I'm sorry that I can't be online now, but I've recorded this video to share our experience, and I hope that this video will be useful. So today we are going to discuss about creating and building business relationship within and beyond Singapore. When I was a kid, I was so fascinated with stories about people traveling from countries to countries. People see different cultures, travelers and adventures like Indiana Jones, right? And I told myself that one day I will be a traveler like that, and I want to become nomad too. I want to become international nomad, and I told all my friends in my primary school. And true to that, in the past many years, I've been traveling 50 to 75% of my time. Basically, I come back to Singapore just to sleep. And of course, then during this COVID time, in the past 1 year, I can't really travel. So I sleep more in Singapore nowadays. Let's start the discussion today with this book. So I'm not sure whether you have read this book, but this is a fantastic bestseller book that talk about the history of humankind. And this Professor Harari wrote that actually what makes us very different from any other animal and how we can grow from a chimpanzee and gorilla family into human being like today is because of our language capability. And what is that? It is actually a variant of gossip. So all animal language, including human in all this, talk about the danger, where about the lions, and also talk about food. So where's the bison that we can hunt, right? But this language evolution that Homo sapiens has actually allow us to gossip and talk about who hates who sleeps with who is honest and who is cheating. And then it grows into more intelligent discussion where then we can describe, we can do storytelling, we can talk about things that we have not even seen it. And that is where the culture actually started, including religion and all kind of stuffs that we have never seen before in our life, right? I think this Harari book about sapiens is a very good reminder that what is important today for us, especially in the business environment, is not really IQ. Now, IQ is not important today because we can Google everything. If you give me one night, I can Google and I can find out a lot of information. I'm sure all of us can, right? You just type it and you can find it. Yeah, it's not really difficult. And with AI coming in, it will be even easier. Now, what is important today is really EQ, emotional quotient, and SQ, social quotient. So it is about social. It's about how we understand each other. It's about cooperation. It's about collaboration, indeed. Yeah. So it is not about IQ anymore. Now, can you see the road in this picture? Yes, everybody can see the road, yeah? But ladies and gentlemen, there is not road, that is just fallen leaves covering the river. And then this picture, can you see something behind the couples? Yeah, okay, so you can see something. But again, that is not the famous Star Wars Chewbacca, right? It's just someone's hair. So this lady apparently face on the other side, and what we see is the hair of her from behind. So why do we have this? Because of our mind, because of our concept, because of our worldview, because of our background, because of our culture, indeed. Now, we have seen this picture and probably have experienced it also in Singapore. So a lot of people actually eat food with bare hands. Now the question is, can you do this? Right? You may think, oh, no, I'm not going to do this. But yes, I'm going to do this. Okay? Now, how about this? Okay, can you do this? Then eat with your bare hands with a lot of people from one plate. You will think, maybe, maybe not. Yeah. In Uzbekistan, this is very famous rice called plov or pilaf, yeah, which we believe is actually the origin of biryani that we have today in from India and Malaysia, Singapore, elsewhere. What they have is they will give you a spoon, right? But you still have to eat this food together with a lot of people from one plate. Then this next picture, it is, of course, very cute rabbit, right? So all the ladies will say, wow, it's very cute, kawaii. But then your German partner will show you probably this. It's very delicious rabbit stew, and your German partner will probably invite you to have dinner on rabbit stew instead. And what will you say? Yes or no? And then, ladies and gentlemen, this is horse meat. As you can see, a very nice horse meat in Kazakhstan. And when you go to Kazakhstan meat market, you will see that horse meat is there. So you say, no, I'm not going to eat horse meat. But horse meat is delicacies in Kazakhstan, and your partner in Kazakhstan will very likely invite you to eat the delicacies. So yes or no? Again, that is your decision. So we talk about cultural awareness here, right? So I show you a couple of pictures. Basically, do we understand these different cultures? So what do they believe? What do they see? How do they see? What kind of worldview they have? Can I understand all of these differences? Cultural awareness is very important. A lot of studies, a lot of training in this subject. So do you think that this will be helpful for your business? I think certainly yes. However, today I would say that cultural awareness is no longer enough. We need cultural savviness. So what is cultural savviness? So it's ability to perceive cultural differences, differences in worldviews, differences in values within an expanded framework. And again, if I go back to what I've just discussed, that I think IQ is no longer important in this business world. What is important is EQ and SQ, and culture savviness is definitely what we need. So how are we going to do it? What are the steps? I'm sure that all of us have experience. Yeah. So I just want to share what we have done in our company. We use this the activation Trinity concept to help us. So we want to understand why it is important with our head, with our mindset. So we should have correct mindset with us. And after that, then do we have motivation? What is our motivation? That is our heart. And what are the skills? What are the competencies? How are we going to do it on a day-to-day basis? That's our end. Yeah. So let me just share you a couple of points that I think we can probably practice it together. So number one, we really have to start with end in mind. What do we want to do? What is our objective? Are we going to just have friends with these people, or are we going to have business with them? And then it will be very clear for us when we say, okay, now I want to do business with these people, right? Wherever they are. It could be in Central Asia, it could be in Vietnam, it could be in Cambodia, it could be in Russia, it could be anywhere. So I think this is step one, that we have to be very clear. What is our objective? Now, certainly we want to do business, right? Now the next one is really about our mindset. So do we have open mindset? Can we embrace differences? I think a lot of people would say, yeah, I am open minded, right? So I can accept differences, but I would say it is easier to say than done. A lot of people say yes, but actually they don't. Right? Yeah, agree with me? The third point is now let's start everything with love. Yeah, not hate, not prejudice, not presumption, right? So if we want to do business with different people in different countries, let's start with love. If we don't do business, finally, for whatever reason, we can still be friends, right? So I think this is very important. Start everything with love. That is our motivation. The next one is really now the action. So how are we going to do it? Okay, let's meet different people from different cultures, different background. just to explore as many people as possible, as many different cultures as possible, as different background as possible. Now, in today's COVID time, of course, then we can't really meet people face to face because of the safe distancing, but we can still meet these people, different people, in Zoom, in online, in webinar, so it doesn't stop us, right? The last one, when we can travel, let's travel. Let's practice and practice and practice, meet people, eat with them, talk to them, tell stories, listen to their music, listen to their song, try their clothing probably. Try to understand how they see things from their point of view, from their eyes. So I think that's the last 5 points that I want to share from our experience, and I hope it is useful for all of us. And as you can see from the screen now, there are many ways to say thank you, right? In different languages, in different cultures. Sometimes you don't have to say it, but your eyes will say thank you and your face will say thank you. So thank you very much. Adios. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, let me just put this on first. All right, so there's Rudy coming from you. I mean, I think he is out of his surgery right now. All right, if I'm not wrong, based on his timing, he should be out of surgery. So, but I say, you know, if Rudy, if you're watching this, I'd like to just say a very big thank you for still taking, you know, your putting some energy to have this recorded. I mean, you sound a little bit weak, but I'm still very, very thankful that you still recorded that for us. All right, and I hope that our audience out there do take away some of these key points that he has shared about, like, you know, how do you build relationship, how do you build business relationship. And yes, I would like to concur that some of the pointers that Rudy had shared are things that I do in the last 20, 30 years of even my own career, my own business, and even when I am helming IWFCI right now. And for me, something that is most important is I always believe in building sincere and authentic relationship. Many a times we are always very taken or very driven to the fact that if this person may not have certain benefit or value to me, I might not want to build a certain relationship. All right, but what I normally tell my staff, my peers, that let's not do it that way. I mean, right, if a person's path crosses with you, at this moment, maybe there's no opportunity of collaboration, but that doesn't mean that in the near future, there is a possibility of collaboration, right? So I always sincerely believe in building authentic and sincere relationship. Be genuine, be honest, right? Because we're all human beings. We connect and we feel with our heart and of course with our mind, right? Because, and we can feel whether are you being sincere and are you being authentic about building that relationship with us. And as women, we tend to be a little bit more emotional at times, all right? But what I like to share is that it's okay to be vulnerable, all right? But let's not go into the arena of being overly emotional, all right? So this is the second little tip I use for myself, which I hope that also be useful to our audience out there. And the last point is, do not put a price tag on relationship or friendship that you're building. Why? Does it mean that if this relationship with person A is better, this person is giving you value, are you going to put a price tag? And if another person is not able to give you much value right now, you're not going to put a price tag on it. So don't remove this entire price tag thing off the relationship that you're going to build. Put your heart out there, put your sincerity out there, and be honest about building the relationship that crosses paths with you, whether is it professionally or whether is it in your personal life. I personally have benefited from building genuine, authentic relationship. That's why when COVID hit, I'm still able to move from my events business into doing training and to move into other areas of training as well. And I'm thankful because it's the relationship that I've built, the sincerity I put out there, being vulnerable in building certain relationships, which have in the end paid off for me. All right, so that's these 3 little tips that I hope that y'all can take with you for building a relationship. One of it will be genuine, be honest, Okay, be genuine, be honest, be vulnerable, but not emotional. And lastly, do not put a price tag on the friendship or the relationship that you're building. All right, so with that, I will help Rudy wrap up this part on relationship building, and it's back to you, Marie.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you very much for the 3 tips. I think it's very important to understand that as women, right? We don't have to be meek, just be weak kind of thing, because we are not. And, you know, a little relationship can go such a long way in being, to build relationship, to build not just authentic relationship, but a relationship that will help each other. And so we will now go into the next session, which is the panel consisting of Anne, Diana, and Stephanie. And so what we want to talk about is this. Basically, this whole panel will talk about like what we just covered, which is the BRIM series, and that is business, relationship, image, and mental attitude. So let's start with Diana first. Now, you said be yourself, and you said, you know, don't let naysayers kick you off course, or, you know, kind of like put negative thoughts into you. What would you suggest if, you know, there are people that kind of like close to you, like your families, and you say, look, you know, I have this idea and I really wanted to do something for myself, and they say, no, you fail, you can't do it. What would you suggest?
What would I suggest? Well, when I first started IWFCI, my family thought I was absolutely crackers, because at that time, all the chambers of commerce were very male orientated. And I was just getting so frustrated with the lack of women who were already starting their businesses and just weren't getting anyway into any positions or anything. It was so covered with male employees, male heads, male everything. So that's what drove me actually to start IWFCI. And all I can say is, if you have a passion, and I mean a real passion, to do something, it doesn't mean to say you've got all the answers at first. And the thing is, you've got to, you know that every step you take will be another learning curve. But say, for instance, you come across the different steps, like, I really do not know too much about how to market my business. Go off and do a course on it. Be a 5-week course, something. Always keep adding to your knowledge, because your knowledge will help you make the right decisions. Now, when it comes to family, that is sensitive, because if you can take criticism from people outside, but it's hard with your family. But I will admit that in the end, my family did support me, even though they thought I was still crackers. But they did support me. And even today, my husband still thinks I'm crackers, but he is my greatest supporter. So the thing is, there are people who will believe you. And where you feel you lack knowledge, you can find people or a course or something that will help you build on that knowledge. So please, again, believe in yourself, begin the journey, but do not begin that journey without knowing truly why you're doing it. And you have got to be passionate about it. And you've got to keep that passion going, even when you come across the pitfalls. That's all I can add to that.
That's great. Thank you. So it starts with the why. Everything starts with the why. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You know, and can you sustain it in the long term? So talking about sustainability, you know, we have gorgeous Anne smiling at us, you know, with a red lipstick and all that. And that's a question for you. How does a person pivot to include CSR in their business?
Most companies will always want to do good. Anyone who goes into business will always want to feel that, yes, I do need to do something good in return. It's all human. It's just that maybe they don't have the opportunities, maybe they don't have the resources to be able to branch out. CSR doesn't mean that you have to put up whatever percentage of your business, whatever you're comfortable with. It has to do with your heart and your feelings and what you want to do. If someone doesn't have that kind of compassionate ground, then they don't have to, But in my years of experience, knowing a lot of people, every single one has got this compassion to do something good for others. It's just that they don't know how to do it, or they have got no avenues how to do it. So when you get to know someone who has got this extension of what they want to do, just write it on. Like what so far we've been very blessed with our Hemispheres Foundations. People are coming in with us and supporting us all the way through. Otherwise, we will never be able to sustain it again, because working on social enterprise is not easy. So you need to get organizations who believe in you and believe in what you're doing for socially good. Does that answer your question?
Perfect. And so I will ask a question each of the speakers. So coming to Daphne, earlier in your talk, you mentioned that you juggle a lot of things. So how do you then take time out for yourselves? Because you're managing not just yourself, you're also managing your business, you're managing, a lot of stuff. So how do you basically say, okay, time out from all these things, and what do you do to take time out?
Yeah, before the coronavirus started, it was travel, and along with travel was also work, because wherever we went to places, the first thing that we visited was a library, and we visited universities and schools to learn the systems there. So it was kind of leisure, it was kind of work, and we enjoyed traveling. And reading is another great stress buster. So, this taking a novel in a hand, a bestseller, just gives you so much of release and relief. And the other thing is, the whole family lives nearby, so we meet at dinner time. That's one very special, important space that the family gets together. So that's those are the three things that we love to do. That is, one is travel. Before pandemic times, during pandemic times, we used to take breaks and go to our farmhouse, which is nearby, just about 50 kilometers away. And reading is always a pleasure, and family time in the evening.
Okay. So in other words, you're taking time out is also spending time with your family.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fantastic. So there's a question for all three of the panelists. My question is this. Well, you talk about sustainability, you talk about spending family time, and you talk about, be yourself, all this thing, which is so well and good. And it's I know a lot of people just ask this type of question. But at the end of the day, right, what is the purpose behind, building a business, sustaining it, and, having the family to support you? Now it sounds like a cliche in a sense, but the point I'm trying to make is this, right? Is that, everybody wants to go into business, but exactly what is the purpose of going into the business in this respect of IWFCI? Why go into a business? Why do this yourself?
Who's that too?
Okay, I think I can only share with what my personal experience. I was doing a very good, comfortable, high flyer job where at a very young age, at 23, I have a car and a driver, and that was in the 70s. I think for a lady to be in that position, it's not easy, right? To achieve that. But then again, when I had my first child, I had in a hospital, piles of work in the hospitals. So I said, oh my goodness, how am I going to breastfeed my little baby and having to deal with all this stack of work? It's not easy. When you're in the corporate world, in that position, it's very demanding. And if you have a family to look after, well, if you're independent, you're single, it's easier. But once you are involved with a child to look after, where is your priority? You give birth to life. You have a commitment with that. How can you forsake your child and not and attending to the work situation is not easy, like what Daphne says. We have to adjust. So I then told myself, right, if I don't do something for my family and having to pursue my career, who's going to look after my little baby and be bonded with them? Thank goodness I have a very good mother-in-law who was able to support me. Even with mates and all that, that's not going to have that little bonding. So 2 weeks after maternity leave, I went back to work. 2 weeks. I think who would ever do that? But I have to because you're committed to your work. The only thing I said is that I can't travel. I have to be at home, but I have to give up my nursing and coming to work because I've got no other choice because the work is piling up. Because it's easier for me to leave my baby with my mother-in-law and then I come in and attend to the work itself. Otherwise, we go crazy. So after struggling for 3 years, I told my mom, I says, Mom, I think I have to make a decision whether or not I would like to forget about my career, quit my job, or do something else. Thank goodness, maybe because when you're an entrepreneur, you have that ability with you and just pick it up. So with the blessing of my family, they says, are you sure you want to do it? You have a cushy job, you know. I just no, I can't. Even with having 2 maids to look after the child and the family, I just can't do that. So I said that I would rather sacrifice my corporate life and start something big. Because when you're in business, you can adjust your own timing. Whether or not you have whatever time that you have, you can at least spend and allocate time and not being assigned to having to attend to the work first. So once you are in the business, you are able to manage the time on your own. So that from my own personal perspective, I felt that I did not make any mistake. There's no regret for starting my own business. I'm able to adjust. Even now, being a grandmother with COVID situations, I'm able to look after my grandson, who is now 11 months. I'm able to do that to support my family as well and be able to give my time. Maybe I will do a little bit later in the evening to catch up with my work. But you have the independence to make your own decisions, how you manage your time. But when you're in a corporate life, your boss calls you, sorry, you have to go in and attend to your job. That's how I felt, and that's what draws me to go in the business without any regret at all.
Thank you, Anne. How about Diana and Daphne?
Right. Well, I did speak earlier what drove me to actually start IWFCI, but before that, we actually had a manufacturing company, and that's what led me into the Chambers of Commerce because that's where you went when you had a business. That's where you got your connections. But I had no regret giving up that manufacturing company to start IWFCI. I also gave up a career in television in my very early days when my children were just little babies. And I had to make a decision. They offered me a very good position with Channel 2 to go on air as an interviewer, and I had to make a decision. And I have never regretted it because even today my children say to me, thank you, Mom, for staying with us and being with us in those early years. That didn't stop me from learning, from adding to my knowledge of things. We started our manufacturing company, and I had the support of the boys at the time, which was quite interesting when they were 18. But I will admit that when I started IWFCI, my son Philip was a great, great supporter. And he himself was part of all sorts of organizations around the world and doing all sorts of things. So we used to discuss many, many times what we were doing, especially when I was with the Apex. He'd be in one country and I'd be in another country, and we'd be talking on the phone what is happening with each one. So we had a very good rapport there, and he was a great, great help to me. But look, we all make decisions. And I honestly believe when you put your family first, I think that's a very important decision, like you did, Anne. You put your family first. But it doesn't stop your entrepreneurial spirit, creating something new, which I did with IWFCI. And I feel so rewarded for what I've seen and how the wonderful, wonderful women that I've met in IWFCI and how we've evolved with wonderful women of presidents of each of the chapters. To me, that is my reward. That is my reward, to see others grow. And I just believe that if you put your family first, I think that's your best decision, because what comes next is what you develop yourself with your own passion, not being an employed person. The entrepreneurial spirit in you will rise. Thank you.
Well said, Diana. How about you, Daphne? Like any thoughts?
Yeah, I think in the different stages of your life, different priorities will take precedence. Like when we started off and when I was laid off from my job, then I used to hold 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs. And in my spare time, I used to write books, with public and publish them. So that was to make that additional money, because in those years, even when you took a home, the installments had to be paid. So money was a priority, but at the same time, family was also the priority. And the good thing was, it's a family-run business. The kids were also along with you while you worked. Your workplace also became like your home. The little workstation where where you were working out from, was also your home. So we never left the kids out, and on all our travels, the kids travel with us. You get new ideas, look at different horizons, and integrate them all into whatever new you are starting. So you take a little bit from all the cultures of the world, because we are in the education business. And so whenever we travel, if you go to a library, university, you take little bits of what is important there and see how we can integrate it here. But like Diana said and Anne said, family was the priority. I remember even when I was doing my PhD, my little children used to come to see me at my little workstation, which was on the terrace. And every time they saw me dressing up, they knew that I was going out. They used to say, go and do your PhD. Means they had the comfort of me being around them while I was still working. And of course, now once you reach a stage when your children are settled and things are working okay for you, then the CSR becomes important. You have to give back to society in whatever way you can. And the IWFCI has given me so much of, drive and initiative to do more for the less privileged in society.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Diana, for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Daphne.
Yeah.
That just what you all just said just answered a question about priority and precedence. So family seems to be the most important part, where you have more time than the security that comes with it, unfortunately, to some degree. However, having said that, all you women have inspired us to become even better version of ourselves. And so I just wanted to wrap up this virtual roundtable by just one question, because I know that some men are watching and they're going like, we're not going on a man bashing journey here. We're just saying that these are the perspectives of women. So what can men do? Say in one sentence, what can men do to support a woman entrepreneurship?
The family or man as in the man as in your family
Either family
or business.
Well, if I could answer that one within the family, as I've already told you, my husband knows that my workload is enormous with the things that I have to do. He is retired, but he is my greatest backer. I would not be able to do anything. He is always constantly there to meet whatever I need to compensate for not being in the family at that time. And he just predicts me, which is quite incredible actually. And he reads me well. And if I'm overstressed, he will just calm me down and sit me down and this sort of thing. But he is a gem. He is an absolute gem. But then you do get husbands who can become very jealous of a woman's success. They can become very jealous. And that sometimes can lead to abuse. Now, all I can say is to the girls and to the women, choose your partners well. Look at how he treats his mother. Make sure that you can see that he treats women well and that he is a gentleman. And as I say, be very careful who you marry and don't be in a hurry to marry. Make sure you know him for at least 12 months to 2 years. And when you get, yes, my word, because after 6 months, but after 6 months, they can start to show their true colors. So then you can make up your mind. But the thing is, once you've decided to marry, then get on with it. But the thing is, choose your partners well. Choose your partners well, because it could mean the making or the breaking of your life going on forward. That's my advice at my age. Having learnt a few things.
So wrapping up.
No, I say everybody needs their space. And my husband gives me a lot of space, both mental space as well as physical space. So, we don't intrude or we don't encroach on each other. So we occupy this fifth floor of an apartment building. So one side is his and one side is mine. So there is no real intrusion except. And of course, he gives me a lot of mental space to do my own things, to do my own charities, to do my own little, private entertainment. And so it works that way. And I too give him a lot of space. I give him more space than he gives me. So I think that's the successful story. The mental as well as the physical space.
I think the aspect that different nationality males play a different role in supporting their spouse. Maybe with the Singaporeans, the ladies are very dynamic, too dynamic sometimes. So that kind of like threatens our spouse a little bit. But having said that, I think no spouses, no husbands will ever say no to your wife if they feel that she's doing the right thing. No matter what it is, you marry the person that you love, and he's going to support you all the way through, no matter what. There may be differences, which is good. Differences doesn't mean bad at all, because it's a different person's perspective, which enlightens you in other words. Because whatever we do, we need to have both sides of reflections, So I think we're all on board. The families, they are all on board. Children, in-laws, outlaws, everybody on board with you.
They certainly are.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anne. Yes, so once again, we are going to conclude our virtual roundtable, and it's my honor and privilege to host and serve all of you. Very, very blessed to be to not just learn, but also be enriched by the experience. And I will now hand over to Annie to wrap up the IWSCI first virtual roundtable. And thank you very much for having me. Over to you, Anne.
All right. Thank you so much, Marie. My dear founder has just signaled to me. I think she wants to add something. All right. So, Anne, I'll let you speak first.
To thank Annie for her tremendous task in hosting this virtual conference together. Everyone can't wait to meet up in Singapore for the summit, for the Global Trade Women Summit. And Annie has done a tremendous job organizing this build-up events so that all of us eventually will be coming to Singapore and celebrate and getting to know everyone on board and sharing all the experiences. So my thanks to Annie for hosting this and driving this through, She's done a tremendous job.
You have.
All right, thank you so much, Anne. And I think, yes, so like what Anne had said, today, this particular webinar is just the first of the a series of 4 webinars. So there's going to be another 3 more in June, in September, and possibly in early December before we all go for a year-end break. And on top of it, there's going to also be 3 series of podcasts. All right, so we want to make this as accessible to as many members and as many women out there as possible, right? So if you think that you're going to, like to share your ideas, your thoughts with us, with the community out there, drop us a message, let us know. We'll be more than happy to showcase you on our podcast series, all right? And if we feel that you would like to, if you feel that you'd like to be a speaker on our coming webinar, let us know, all right? Because we have certain themes that we go along. So if you feel that what you'd like to share is going to be relevant to that particular theme for that webinar, we will be more than happy to engage with you to see how we can bring this forward. And as mentioned, this entire series is actually as a lead up to our main Global Women Trade Summit in 2020 here in Singapore. It is our turn, it's my term, it's during my term, it's during my EXCO term. So we're all geared up to ensure that we do a awesome event for the women here in Singapore and also to our foreign friends who hopefully by then would be able to fly into Singapore to join us for the Global Summit itself. All right, so having said that, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Diana. I know it's dinner time for you right now, so thank you so much for staying on with us. And for Daphne, I know that we probably eat a little bit into your lunch hours, so thank you once again also for being here. And of course to Anne for coming and join us, taking time off from your 11-month-old grandson, all right, and being here with us. And of course to Marie for hosting us. And in case you can't see, I've got another 3-4 ladies here with me, helping with all the little technical issue about checking on the comments and the the comments and the question. Without them, I will not be able to pull this off. All right, so a great thank you to them. And yes, of course, our sunflower, who is now resting in the hospital. Thank you once again to Mr. Rudy Fang for doing that little video for us. And we look forward to working with all of you much more closer to deliver more webinars, more podcasts, and of course, the actual summit in 2022. So thank you once again. And then to all our audience out there, we hope you pick up precious nuggets and we'll see you again in June. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.